The Magic Show is brought to you by StarCityGames.com, and check this out. Rise of the Eldrazi is coming soon, and StarCityGames.com is your source for boxes, cases, fat packs, intro packs, complete sets, and singles. Head on over to StarCityGames.com and pre-order Rise of the Eldrazi today.
This is Cedric Phillips. Dredge is awesome. Welcome to the Magic Show.
Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of The Magic Show. This week we're barreling towards the release of Rise of the Eldrazi, and I'll just tell you, I'm all kinds of excited. We've got the biggest, fiercest creatures ever printed, and we've got two incredible new Planeswalkers, such as Sarkan the Mad, who returns more pissed off than ever, and White getting the awe-inspiring Gideon Jura. Are you ready to see the latest and greatest? Let's go! So this week we got a heaping spoonful of spoilers, and I'll get to some biggies first. Have you seen Sarkan the Mad yet? Love this guy. Honestly, I wish I didn't like him so much. Why? Because Sarkhan version 2.0 looks like to be a perfect fit for Jund, the deck that is absolutely dominating Standard, or to put it more precisely, the perfect follow-up to a turn 4 Bloodbraid Elf flipping over a Sprouting Thrynax. Who needs a 3-3 when you can have a 5-5 dragon and 3 saplings just waiting to be sacrificed the following turn? So sick. What I really love is that the -2 ability can target any creature, including your opponents. Who wouldn't want to force their opponent to sacrifice their Baneslayer Angel for a much less powerful flying 5-5? How many times has a creature like that stopped your onslaught? Instead, just give them a dragon and keep on bashing, is what I say. Then, when you're done turning your saplings into dragons, you can simply use his Dark Confidant ability over and over until he's dead. I mean, seriously, did Jund need more card advantage? Then, of course, there's his ultimate ability that can be used immediately, another first for Planeswalkers, and another reason it's fantastic in Jund. Drop a Broodmate Dragon, then Sarkan the Mad, take 8 damage and swing for 8 more? How nuts is that? I also really enjoy how this guy has no plus abilities. He's going down somehow, and there's no getting around it. But believe it or not, this card isn't getting near the hype as the other Planeswalker in Rise of the Eldrazi, Gideon Jura. Yes, that is a whopping 6 loyalty on a 5-mana Planeswalker who has a +2 ability that makes your opponent swing all out next turn. Unreal. Plus it has the Vengeance ability, providing incredible synergy with its first ability, or punishing your Baneslayer wielding opponent immediately. But the real surprise is the final ability. Not only does it cost no loyalty, not only does he become a huge 6/6, but you prevent all damage that would be dealt to him this turn. This is bad news for red decks that want to burn him out, and I hope you have an army of chump blockers to deal with him. Gideon is just a barrel of goodness waiting to be poured over the metagame. Some are already calling him the White Cryptic Command. My first thought was to combine him with Elspeth Knight Errant to create a sea of chump blockers to make his first ability even more potent. The ability to force your opponent to attack with everything also makes me think of how incredible Gideon will be in aggro as well as control strategies. Of course, many would like to pair him with Jace the Mind Sculptor for maximum badassness, and I'm definitely okay with that. He's currently selling for about $30 a pop, and I suggest you pick yours up soon. If Sarkhan is awesome, this guy is notches above even that Planeswalker. I, for one, want to take a moment to recognize the uniqueness of both Planeswalkers in Rise of the Eldrazi. Both Sarkhan and Gideon represent a new era for Planeswalkers, one where they don't really need to tell a story with their abilities or build up to an ultimate. Rather, they are more like toolboxes to be used as you see fit. Sure, they have ultimate abilities as their final abilities, but how ultimate is using no loyalty counters or just over half of them for an effect? There used to be a joke that one day a Planeswalker ultimate would be a plus ability. How far is Gideon from that, and how far are we away from that scenario anyway? Moving on, have you seen Colony Hydra? Rawr! Now that's a friggin' monster. I, for one, am so glad to see the word trample on here. For 8 green mana, discounted by its ability or no, it should have trample. Now the Wizard's take on why trample isn't on some cards that feel like they should be, such as Terastodon, is that it is funner to try to give him trample in some way, using an aura or an ability, but sometimes you just want a beat stick to stand on its own, and Colony Hydra is some good for that. Not to mention that Colony Hydra plus Primal Crux is good times no matter how you slice it. But how about some level up creatures? Now, these guys, they get a serious bad rap. We, as Magic players, are so used to getting our goodies immediately that when you have to build up to them, particularly by sinking mana into them, all we can focus on is the mana required to make them awesome and not the process of getting there over several turns. Last week I featured Knight of Cliffhaven, the 14-mana Sarah Angel, and I mentioned how fantastic Gul'Draw's Assassin, the Buy a Box promo, can be, particularly in creature battles. But this week we've got some more level up creatures, and I think we're already seeing signs of awesomeness to come. Enclave Cryptologist is a new fave of mine. Now, I don't know if you know this, but this creature marks the first time you've ever been able to use a Merfolk Looter on turn 2 with no sacrifice drawbacks, such as Drowned Rusalka, or as a one-time use, such as with Merfolk Trader from all the way back in Weatherlight. While it's certainly badass while fully leveled up, I think simply leveling it once will make it more than worth it. Definitely a solid card. Another level up creature I like for nothing more than limited beatdown is the Mike Turian Spoiled Beast Breaker of Bala Ged. Apart from a kick-ass name, it also marks the first time a 4/4 has been swinging into the red zone on turn 3 without a drawback, like Flesh Reaver or Illusionary Pet. Sure, there have been plenty of 3-mana 4/4s, but none have actually bashed in on turn 3 for you. It may never see play beyond the limited realm, but I really appreciate this card and how its 5-mana investment to make it a 4/4, reminiscent of Echo but without the must-pay restriction, really pushes the power curve that much higher. Next is Kazandu Tuskmaster. This is a rare that, again, looks like way too much investment for what you get out of it. But let's think about this. Turn 1 mana accelerator, such as Llanowar Elves or Noble Hierarch, allows you to start making 3/3s on turn 3. Turn 3 you level up twice, then ship the turn ready to put a 3/3 into play at a moment's notice. Probably not going to be breaking any standard metagames, but again, an example of a card that is not as bad as you may originally think. The last level up creature is supposedly a doozy from Mike Flores, Kargan Dragonlord. Now, this guy is a mythic, aggressively costed, and looks to do nothing in the current metagame, unfortunately. While he looks similar to Figure of Destiny, and goes ultimate with 1 less mana total, I don't see how this guy is going to be doing a lot of bashing in the current metagame. Red Deck Wins is always a fun deck, but not always one that can fight through the hate of cards like Celestial Purge or Core Firewalker. However, I wouldn't count this one out, as it is mythic, and Wizards is known for making sure at least a few cards from the set's marquee mechanic make their way into Constructed. But another issue is the power of Vampire Hexmage. Like it wasn't good enough, it is also engineered to ruin your level up investments quickly and easily. Could this card get any better? To address concerns of Level Up's lackluster appearance, here's what Aaron Forsyth said on his Twitter account about players bashing Level Up creatures and the fact that it's a sorcery speed only mechanic. While it's really annoying not to be able to level up in response to a lightning bolt or something, it keeps things simple, makes leveling up matter more, and rewards smart leveling. Otherwise, you would always, without fail, level up at the end of your opponent's turn, and this would decrease the skill required to do it correctly. We'll talk more about leveling up as the weeks go on. So how about those Eldrazi? We've seen Kozilek, and we've seen Imrakul the Iwin Laws. But there are more Eldrazi out there, and they are pretty scary in their own right. You see, Kozilek and Imrakul are just 2 of the 3 massive and mythic Eldrazi in this set. Ready for the last one? Here is Ullamog the Infinite Gyre. Whoo boy, what a monster. Now, he's no Imrakul, but he is a Vindicate that will happen no matter what as long as you cast him, so that's nice. I love how the Eldrazi trigger on casting, an important distinction, meaning even if they are countered by Essence Scatter and the like, you are still getting the bonus of drawing 4 cards with Kozilek, taking an extra turn with Imrakul, or destroying a permanent for Ullamog. But how are you going to cast these monsters? Well, Wizards has covered you with enough Excel to get you there. Last week we talked about Imrakul's Hatcher, and this week we have Skittering Invasion. This 7-mana tribal sorcery provides you with both chump blockers and acceleration to get you to the insane cost required to make Eldrazi creatures actually cast. But that's not the best 7-mana tribal sorcery, not by a long shot. Have you seen All Is Dust? Wow, wow, wow. Now that is a board sweeper. It's not a Chroma's Vengeance because it can't destroy artifacts, but hot damn can it wreck everything else. From creatures to enchantments to planeswalkers, All Is Dust is here to shut down your favorite strategies and leave the colorless monsters to clean up. This is the spell that the Eldrazi ramp decks needed, a way out to powerful options like Chase the Mind Sculptor and Gideon Jura. Another mythic was spoiled on Wednesday, the Dastardly Hellcarver Demon. Man, talk about your all-in cards. For this guy, everything's on the table. You smash, you sack and discard everything, and you cross your fingers. Many players are already planning their Selective Memory and Mirror of Fate decks, while others are sure this will be awesome in Hypergenesis. Me, I'm looking forward to going all in and then flipping up Second Sunrise off the top of my deck, or better yet, how's about swinging side by side with Twilight Shepherd? Sounds like a boatload of fun. Last, I want to talk about near-death experience. First of all, how awesome is that name? And when you look at the incredible artwork of Gideon Jura standing exhausted yet triumphant over a defeated Eldrazi, you can't help but feel what that near-death experience was like. And then that flavor text. There was no other word for it but victory. You damn Skippy, hells yeah! And finally, the ability, just a Johnny's dream card. Suddenly you have a mission, you know what you have to do, and you know what you need to achieve it. Cards like Worship or Angel's Grace can ensure you stay at 1 life, while other cards like Volcano Hellion and Plunge into Darkness can get you to 1 life quickly and easily. While I doubt it'll be rocking any tournament tables, it definitely does the job to drive those Johnnies wild. Until next week, Magic players, when we have another boatload of spoilers to discuss, this is Evan Irwin, tapping the cards so you don't have to.
Always like the fatties.